Alright, finally the Chiefs stumbled, and this one felt different. Why? A 30-21 loss to the Bills wasn't just another off night. It raised some real questions about this team. We've seen the Chiefs dominate year after year, but for the first time this season, it felt like their weaknesses were on full display. What happened out there? Was it just a bad game, or did the Bills expose something deeper? These are the kinds of losses that get you thinking, not just about this game, but what it means as the playoffs creep closer. There's a lot to unpack here, from missed opportunities to defensive struggles and everything in between. Let's break it all down, because if you're following the Chiefs, this is one story you don't want to miss. What's up, buddies? Welcome back. If you are new here, make sure you hit the subscribe button. We cover all AFC West news here on this channel. So, the game started with the Bills deferring and the Chiefs got the ball. But just 2 plays in, disaster struck. Mahomes scrambled, tried to make something happen, and ended up throwing a pick. The Bills wasted no time turning that mistake into points. Classic Josh Allen making plays when it mattered most. Indeed, this wasn't a one-sided game. The Chiefs had their moments. Xavier Worthy came out of nowhere in the first quarter with some huge plays, including a touchdown. For a minute, it looked like the offense was clicking. But then, just like that, the spark faded. Worthy wasn't even targeted again for the rest of the game, and the offense started stalling. On the other side, Josh Allen was doing what he does best. Extending plays, finding guys like Curtis Samuel and Khalil Shakir in key moments. And that game-sealing touchdown run? Vintage Allen. He took matters into his own hands and refused to let the Bills lose. The Chiefs had their chances, though. A deep shot to Worthy in the second quarter could have been a walk-in touchdown, but the execution wasn't there. That's the story of this game. Moments where the Chiefs could have taken control, but instead, the Bills capitalized. By the end, it wasn't a blowout, but it didn't feel close either. The Bills controlled the tempo, converted the clutch plays, and walked away with a well-earned win. Now, the question is, what does this loss really say about the Chiefs? Because this wasn't just about the final score, it's about the cracks that started showing along the way. Breaking this game into pieces, let's talk about the Chiefs' defense, because this game puts a spotlight on some serious issues. And honestly, it wasn't pretty. The Chiefs' defense had only one job: stop the Bills on third down. That's it. And yet, time after time, they just couldn't get off the field. 6 different third and long situations ended in conversions for Buffalo. 3rd and 6, 30 yards. 3rd and 8, 15 yards. Even a 3rd and 9, boom, another first down. You can't win games like that, especially against a team like the Bills. And to be honest, the secondary was targeted hard, too. Trent McDuffie, he was solid as ever. But everyone else? A different story. Nazy Johnson, for example, got picked on all night, giving up over 100 yards and a touchdown. Buffalo had a clear game plan: avoid McDuffie, attack the other side, and it worked like a charm. And the pass rush didn't do the defense any favors either. Outside of Chris Jones and George Karlaftis, the rest of the line just wasn't getting it done, and that left Josh Allen with way too much time to make plays. And when did they blitz? Allen made them pay, extending plays with his legs or finding wide-open receivers. Do you think this kind of defense performance beats the top-tier offenses? Because if they can't clean up these third-down mistakes and get consistent pressure, games like this might become the norm, not the exception. And that's a problem the Chiefs can't afford to ignore. On the other hand, the offense, what can we say? This wasn't exactly the high-powered Chiefs attack we're used to seeing. Right from the start, it felt off. That early interception from Mahomes set the tone, and things never really clicked after that. Mahomes spent way too much time under pressure. He was sacked multiple times and had to scramble just to stay alive on several plays. And when your quarterback's running for his life, it's tough to get anything going downfield. And have you noticed those deep balls? What's happening there? Mahomes had that chance to hit Xavier Worthy for what could have been a walk-in touchdown, and it just didn't happen. The ball was too close to the sideline, and Worthy couldn't keep his feet inbounds. Moments like that change games. It's not just on Mahomes, though. The connection with his receivers has been shaky all season, and this game was no different. Then there's the playmaking, or lack of it. Worthy had a hot start, catching everything thrown his way early in the game, including a touchdown. And then, nothing. He wasn't targeted again. Travis Kelce, he got shut down too, with just 2 catches for 8 yards. DeAndre Hopkins had a few moments, but didn't make much of a splash either. It was like the Bills took away all the usual options, and the Chiefs didn't have a plan B. And you know what? Although the Chiefs lost for the first time in the season, the offensive line has been struggling for weeks, and Mahomes has already been sacked more this season than he was all of last year. If they don't fix these protection issues and find more consistency with their playmakers, this offense might not have the firepower to carry them when the defense falters. And with the playoffs looming, that's a problem they need to figure out fast. Because if they don't, games like this one against the Bills could become a blueprint for how to beat the Chiefs. Losing to Buffalo is one thing, but this loss reveals some key issues as the playoffs approach. The Chiefs are still 9-1, still sitting near the top of the AFC. But the pressure is building. Every contender out there, from the Ravens to the Dolphins, is watching this tape and thinking, if Buffalo can do it, so can we. That's the ripple effect of a loss like this. It gives your opponents confidence, and that's the last thing you want as you gear up for a playoff run. The next few weeks could give us the answer. Let's talk about what they need to do to turn things around. The good news, the problems are fixable. The bad news, there's not a lot of time to fix them with the playoffs looming. First, the offensive line. This has to be priority number one. Mahomes has been under fire way too often, and it's starting to affect his rhythm. The Chiefs need to tighten things up, especially on the left side where protection has been shaky. Maybe it's time to bring in a veteran for added depth, or maybe it's about better scheming to give Mahomes more time. Whatever the solution, they've got to figure it out fast. Then there's the secondary. Losing players like L'Jarius Sneed has left some big holes, and teams like the Bills are exposing them. Trent McDuffie is holding his own, but he can't do it alone. Whether it's adjusting coverage schemes, giving younger players more reps, or even bringing in a free agent, the Chiefs need to patch things up back there. Because if not, every elite quarterback they face is going to do exactly what Josh Allen did. And the playmakers need to step up too. Xavier Worthy showed flashes of brilliance early in the game, but then he disappeared. That can't happen. Kelsey and Hopkins are getting bracketed, so someone else needs to step up as a consistent threat. Maybe that's where Tyquan Thornton comes in. The guy's got speed for days, and if he can stretch the field, it could open up everything else. And you know the good news is that help is on the way. Isaiah Pacheco is expected to return soon, giving the run game a much-needed boost, and Charles Omenihu should be back on the defensive line, adding some juice to the pass rush. Those are pieces that could make an immediate impact. So the bottom line is that the Chiefs can't afford to coast through the rest of the season. The Chiefs need to treat the upcoming games as opportunities to fix their weaknesses, stabilize their performance, and reassert themselves as the dominant force in the AFC. Their next matchup against the Panthers, while seemingly an easier challenge, is more than just a chance to grab a win. It's a moment to rebuild confidence, sharpen their game plan, and set a strong foundation for the critical stretch of the season leading into the playoffs. Now it's over to you. What do you think the Chiefs' biggest issue is right now? Is it the offensive line, the secondary question mark, or something else entirely? What do you think happened in just the last game? Or could the Chiefs play like this in their upcoming matches as well? What's the real problem? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear what you think. And hey, don't forget, the season's far from over. This is still a 9-1 team with everything to play for. Thanks for sticking with me, and let's see how the Chiefs bounce back. Because one thing's for sure, this team's story is far from written. Let's see where it goes next. See you in the next one.